Hello everyone, my name is Seth and today I'm going to give you my review of Lilo and Stitch. This is the live action remake of the 2002 original, which I absolutely love. I loved the follow-up show that was on Disney Channel. There was even this Lilo and Stitch game on PlayStation 1 that I absolutely loved. I have so many memories of playing that nonstop when I was younger. So I was definitely excited for this movie, and I gotta say, it was pretty good. I mean, it was all right. But before we go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. So to give you a little bit of a background, I'm not somebody who hates all of the Disney live action remakes. They're definitely not all great, but there are still some good ones. Like, I absolutely love Cinderella. I think that's an amazing live action remake. Cinderella might be my favorite of the live action remakes. And honestly, I'm somebody who just doesn't really care about remakes in general. There's some people who absolutely hate remakes. They hate the idea of remakes, but I'm not one of them. I'm somebody who I feel like as long as a franchise is not currently ongoing, go ahead, remake it. I don't care. Remake anything. Remake The Godfather. I don't care. As long as it's not a currently running franchise, you can remake anything because a remake does absolutely nothing to the original film. So just in case the remake is actually really good, then congrats, you got a brand new movie that you can love. And if the remake's bad, that doesn't erase your copy of the original. But now that my remake rant is over, I gotta say, like, I did find myself liking the Lilo and Stitch live action remake. Now, it's not as good as the original, and it's not an incredible film by any means, but it's kind of like what I said in the beginning. It's all right. It's pretty good. It's just really a cute, heartwarming film that will do great with families, and especially families with young kids. You know what? That'll work. The movie is solid. It's not as good as it could have been, but it is solid. The story here was relatively the same, although there were a few changes here and there. And some of those changes do actually come toward the end. And I will discuss those. There's kind of a spoiler section I do want to address. But as a whole, the overarching story is pretty much the same. And I honestly didn't mind the changes that they made to this film because I kind of feel like the changes they made almost makes this feel a little bit more grounded, maybe a little bit more realistic. At least as real as you can get with an alien crash landing on Hawaii. I think maybe my biggest complaint with this film is that I really wish that I felt more during the course of this film. We start to get some emotional impact. We start to feel for our characters a little bit more, but I just want more of that. I don't necessarily feel super connected to these characters, and I wish we did. I think your knowledge of the original is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of your connection to these characters, and this film needs to stand on its own. If you're just watching this film for the first time, you have no idea what the original is, I really don't think you're going to connect to these characters as much as you should. We get a little bit of emotional depth, and we're starting that process of caring for these characters. It's just we need more of that. The depth and the connection is just not up to the level that I wanted. I think one thing that maybe could have helped with that is that I kind of feel like this film needs to be longer. I feel like they could have used a little bit more time. This film is only an hour and 48 minutes, while the original is an hour and 25 minutes. So realistically, there's not too much that they added here. And so when this film isn't quite as tight and doesn't really give us the emotional punch that the original does, I feel like we need more time to develop these characters and to develop these relationships. We needed to get to just spend more time with these characters and just let each scene breathe a little bit more. I think when we care about these characters and their relationships, the film works better because the relationships and the situations that our characters are in is really what is the main driving force in the Lilo and Stitch story. But I will say, I think they got the characters of Lilo and Stitch down pretty much perfectly. Going into this film, that is the main thing that they needed to absolutely nail, and I think they did that here. You needed Lilo to be recognizably Lilo, and you needed Stitch to be recognizably Stitch, and they absolutely succeeded here. And even with what we got in this film, I love those two characters. And in this film, I still like the character of Nani, and I really liked. We didn't really get much in this film in terms of depth from characters like David or Jumba. And Jumba was changed a bit from the original, and I feel like we needed more character depth from him. He was just kind of one note the whole film, and he just kind of ended up being a forgettable character. And I like David, but the only thing we know about him in this film is that he's a nice guy. Sometimes he sticks his foot in his mouth, and he likes Nani. I really wish we got to have a bit more from him. I feel like him and Nani's relationship really could have been fleshed out a lot more. I think a remake like this is the perfect opportunity to really dive deep into some of these characters and to really flesh out these characters and relationships even more, and they just don't really do that. So I will say that that is a missed opportunity. One of the things that makes this film work as well as it does is the performances. Most of the performances in this are really, really good. I think the most important casting decision that Disney had to make for this film, and maybe one of the most important casting decisions for the last few films Disney has done just kind of in general, is who they get for Lilo. Because if Lilo didn't work, if the performance from their actress did not work, then really the whole film doesn't work. But I'm so happy to say that Maya Kealoha did a really, really good job. She honestly really nailed the character of Lilo. She is exactly what you would want in a live action version of Lilo. She gets into a little bit of trouble, she's sassy, she's sweet, and Maya seems so natural. There is not one bit of her performance in this film that feels like just a kid acting or a kid reading lines off of a script. It all felt real, and that was really awesome. And I also have to say, it's super impressive that her performance is as good as it is with how many CGI things that she has to interact with. Chris Sanders, who is the director of the original and the original voice of Stitch, comes back for Stitch in this, and he does not miss a beat at all. It's absolutely perfect, and he gets right back into character. Sydney Agudong plays Nani, and I think she does a really good job here as well. She really gets across the frustration of struggling to provide for Lilo while also kind of making that switch from sister to caretaker. I think she's really charming, and her chemistry with Maya is absolutely incredible. You absolutely buy that they have this sister relationship. And that was another very important part of this film. You needed Nani and Lilo really to have great chemistry, and they do. Billy Magnuson has become an actor that I really look forward to in every single thing that he's in. He absolutely throws himself into every role and 100% commits, even if it's completely ridiculous. And he does that here. He's so much fun as Pleakley. He's one of the best parts of the comedic relief in this film. He's ridiculous and over the top, and I absolutely love every single second of it. North Carolina's very own Zach Galifianakis plays Jumba in this film, and I honestly don't quite know how to feel about this performance. I don't necessarily think it's his fault that Jumba does not really connect, or he doesn't really work in this film quite as well as I was hoping. I like Zach Galifianakis, but I think he might have been miscast for this role. I don't necessarily feel like he did a bad job, but I just feel like maybe another actor would have been a better fit for this role. Another thing that I definitely want to praise about this film is the CGI. The CGI honestly is really, really good. I was impressed. I was honestly kind of iffy on the CGI, seeing some of the screenshots and things like that they released. But I think this is just kind of one of those situations where the CGI and the design of some of these characters just work so much better in motion and in context of the film. There's a lot of really awesome, like tiny little details in the CGI, especially in Stitch, that I absolutely love. And the main focal point of the CGI, Stitch, he looks absolutely incredible. All the CGI just really looked great, and it looked like it fit perfectly in every single scene. There's only one thing toward the end of the film that I think maybe didn't quite work as well, and that was when a couple of our actors had to interact with some of the CGI elements, and there was one little bit where I'm like, that doesn't look good. You're definitely acting against air. But other than that, I think all of the other human CGI interactions look really good. There's just one bit, and you can probably find it on TikTok or something like that, where it just doesn't really look good. So overall, I have to say I do like Lilo and Stitch. I don't think it's as good as the original, but I do think it is a good, solid film. And I would say it's probably on the better end of some of the live action Disney remakes. The casting for Lilo and Nani were very important, and they absolutely nailed it. Both of them did a great job. Stitch was exactly what I wanted in this film, and Billy Magnussen was so much fun. I wish there was just some more depth given to these characters. I wish we got to explore relationships a little bit more, and I wish we just had more time with these characters. Everything felt maybe a little bit rushed. But I think this was still a fun and heartwarming movie that's going to be great for families. I'm going to give Lilo and Stitch a 3.5 out of 5. Now, here's where I'm going to get into a couple of the spoiler things. So there's a spoiler warning here on the screen. If you do not want to know anything, if you have not seen this film and you don't want to know any spoilers, this is your chance to go ahead and leave now. But there's a couple of spoiler things I want to address about the ending. I've seen so many people online complaining about how this film completely undermines the original themes of family. And while from a certain point of view, I guess I can see where they're coming from, I do disagree. There are some people who complain that Nani just gives up Lilo and abandons her, and I completely disagree. I do not see that situation the same way. At one point in this movie, Nani is not given a choice. They are going to take Lilo away from her because she does not have health insurance for both of them. Nani is not given an option at this point. It is what is going to happen. They are letting her know that we are going to take Lilo away from you. So by the end of the film, Lilo and Nani's neighbor is able to work it out to where Lilo gets to stay with them. And especially by this point in the film, they're like family to Lilo and Nani. So Lilo is not just taken away by CPS and given to whoever. She gets to stay with her next door neighbor who is like family. And on top of that, Nani doesn't just abandon Lilo going off to college. Everybody, including Lilo, wants her to go to college because they don't want her to get left behind as a part of this family. They want her to be able to achieve her dreams as well. And so that's what she does. She goes to college and they still get to talk to each other every day. And there's even this little plot device where Nani has this portal gun from Jumba and she can go see Lilo in person whenever she wants. And so I kind of feel like this is more of a realistic, happy ending. And that's what the director was going for. And I think he succeeded. So you may see this differently. I'm not telling you that you're wrong for feeling the way that you do, but I definitely do not see this as Nani giving up Lilo and just abandoning her. But that's it. That's my review of Lilo and Stitch. Have you seen this film? Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you about it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.